Hey YouTube and Caymanas Park Turf Fights, welcome back to Down the Stretch. I'm your host Christopher Charlton and we're back at it again. Okay, this is for Saturday, December 21st, 2024. We got a 10 race program and let's get right into it. The first race, native bred 4-year-olds and up, non-owners of 2, and imported 4-year-old up maiden. 9 starters, 7 furlongs is the distance. I'm just going to boil this down to 4 horses really. On paper it looked like it's going to be a 1-horse race, but I have to boil it down to 4. This is horse racing and anything can happen. Okay, so they are the 2, Waterman John, the 3, Final Load, the 7, Jack Daniel, and the 8, Propellant. Okay, first up we're looking at is Waterman John. This horse is Tevin Foster riding for Victor Williams. Nothing in his last 3 starts. Last start was December 7th at 6.5 furlongs. Showed nothing in that same race where Propellant was the big favorite, and he was not seen anywhere in the race. Finished 6 by 14 lengths with Tevin Foster. Tevin Foster still has the ride. He was coming off a 2-month break. Without the blinkers. The blinkers has now been fitted again, and that was kind of like, I guess, a little warm-up run for him. So I guess we might say a better showing from Waterman John. The distance not going to be any kind of a problem, and if he's patiently waited with, I think Waterman John should come with a good run. The 3, Final Load, on debut in that same race on December 7th. Was the horse that was putting the pressure on Sky Rizzy the entire race. So it wasn't bad for a debut run for this 4-year-old Winchester McIntosh trained. Ray and Lewis had the ride that day. Robert Halladine now has the ride. They've taken off the visors, so I guess they don't want him to go that fast too early on Saturday. They removed the visors, so I guess they're going to try a more patient run from him this time around. Came back on the 16th of December out and shoot and gallop 7 in 133 and 4, which is pretty good. That's not a bad work. Before that he paced 7 in 143. So I'm active at the exercise and looks like he's going to give another good effort from a more patient ride. The 7, Jack Daniel, also coming out of that same race on December 7th. But he had a horrible break. I didn't know how I missed it to not put it in my horses to watch. But he had a very, very tardy start and was left completely out of the race. And was a no-show for the entire race with Dane Nelson. Radish Roman now gets a ride for Gary Crawford. And I'm expecting a much better run from Jack Daniel from a clean break. Because 7 furlongs is right up his alley. And I would be surprised if Jack Daniel is the horse that has to go in for that lead early if he gets a clean break. And the horse they're going all have to beat is Propellant. Came off a year and a 14-month break. Was way outsped leaving the half mile, 13.5 lengths, 11th when ridden by Shane Ellis. Came home flying to lose by only 3 lengths. Gets an extra half a furlong now. Dane Dawkins in the saddle now, and much better for that pipe opener. Has been cantering since that race, so looks very fit. And with that run behind him is definitely the horse that they are going to have to beat. This Propellant, once more focus on a lot earlier in the race, is going to be the horse they have to beat. A horse to be careful of in the race though is going to be this 4 horse. Very careful of this horse. Tends to stand in the starting gates when the gates open. He didn't run since June. Came back November 30th. Finished 4th by 18 lengths. But at the start of the race, he stood in the gates again, and the rest of the field got maybe a 6 stride, 7 stride on him. And he managed to finish 4th, beating the 18 lengths, but just taking consideration that the other horses got maybe 6 to 7 strides out the gate before him. So although it's a 250 claim that race was, to me, that's a very, very, very good run. So I don't know if he's at the track working out the gate. I haven't seen it. They have been trotting him. So be careful of him. You know, they put on the blinkers. So I guess they want him sharp. I think this is the first blinkers going on him. So I think they want him to try jump out of the gate. So he could be a horse for the exotics at a very good price if he comes out of the gate. So as I said, my top 4 are the 2 Waterman John, the 3 Final Load, the 7 Jack Daniel, and the 8 Propellant. With Propellant, the horse they're all going to have to beat. Watch out for your exotic bets with Never on a Sunday. And if this Jack Daniel breaks, I'm going to possibly try to take a chance and put him in the exacta if to get the better Final Load for the exacta. But definitely I think Propellant is the horse they're going to all have to beat. The second race, native bred 5-year-olds and up, non-winners of 3, and imported 5-year-olds and up, non-winners of 2. A small field of 6, going 6 furlongs. And this is a very intriguing race, although it's only 6 horses. I want to go into boil this race down to 3 horses, you know, on a serious note. Only 3. They're going to be the 1, Who Done It, the 4, Just Move In, and the 6, Zion Princess. I just brought it down to those 3. So if I don't win, don't kill me. Just taking a chance here, going out on a limb. Okay, first up, the one, Who Done It. This horse did not inherit anything from his mom like his other brothers, Captain Calico and Captain Sparrow, because he's the half brother to both of those horses, but didn't inherit any of the dam's ability. Consistent, you know, he's at the level, he's very consistent for 5-year-olds, non-reserve 3. Has run 22 races and has 2 wins. He's now 5 years old. Laris Allen for Arnold Rambali. Last time out was the 20th of October, where he finished 4x4 lengths at 6.5 furlongs. That was to Diamond Rock and General Chief. Was staying on in that race with T. Foster. Comes in 2 pounds lighter here. And I expected a much better run from this Who Done It, you know. I think this field he can manage this field. A horse that I don't tip in the race has been in front of him on 2 occasions. That's Muso. Another horse in the race who he has beaten is Millennium Star, who is highly fancied in the race as well. So that's the first horse I like. The next horse I like is the 4, Just Move In. Siobhan Townsend for Marlon Brown, Captain Marlon Brown. Okay, Just Move In finally gets a race that I think he's the horse that's going to control the pace. His last start, he went up to non-winners of 4, was early in the pace against horses that he couldn't manage at all, Special Gift and aka Storm. Came to the top of the lane, 3rd by 5 lengths, and then faded out of the race with only 104 pounds in his back. Comes back down in class now and still only has 112 pounds. So I think at the handicap point of view, Just Moving has an excellent chance. 6 furlongs might look a little bit taxing for him now. He has won 7 furlongs before now, but of recent times he looks like he's become a short runner. But in all of those races, he has speed to contend with. This time around, I think he is possibly the lone speed in this event. And if he's allowed to dictate the pace, I think he could steal it. And the other horse I like in the race is the 6, coming in at a price, Zion's Princess. All right, this horse came off of a 10-month break and went up to 550 claimers. Had no chance there. So I think that was just a pipe opener. Give him a little run there, coming off of a break. Carry him back down now. He's now down in class, back down to where he belongs. They've now called for Tevin Foster to ride him, coming in at 115 pounds for Howard Bailey. And 6 furlong, I think, is perfect for him. His last good race over 6.5 was January, where he was second for most of the way, finished 6 by a 6.25 lengths to She's Fantastic. Premier Identity, Antigre Express. All of those horses have left this class. And I think we're going to get a much better run here from this Zion's Princess. So those are the three I like. It's not a race that I would gamble in though. To be honest with you, I wouldn't gamble in this race. But for pick 6 and pick 9 purposes, you know, those are the three I would work with. The 1, the very well bred but lacks the ability. Who done it? The 4, the horse I think they're all gonna have to try to catch. Just moving. And the 6 at a price, Zion's Princess. The third race, native bred 4 years and up, non-reserve 3, and imported 4 years and up, non-reserve 2. Field of 7, 7.5 furlongs, and competitive race. And I'm going to boil it down to 4. They are the 1, Cosmic Force, the 3, Tiger Midat, the 6, Sweet Victory, and the 7, Pretty Caroline. Okay, Cosmic Force. Radish Roman for Stephen Todd. This is Radish Roman third ride on this horse at roughly the same distance. Last time out, the 7th of December, was way off the pace and came home flying. He's a sustainer. Generally comes with a run late in the stretch. Still has on the blinkers. They haven't changed any equipment. Has just cantered since his last run when finishing 30 Dimitri P. Looks like the obvious horse that they're going to have to beat if he can overcome this one draw. But it's a small field. But got to come out of those gates clean though. He doesn't want to miss the break on this coming from the 1 hole. So he just want a clean start and get a good position. Looks like the horse to beat. The 3, Tiger Midat, scratched out of that same race that Cosmic Force was third in on the 7th of December. Was fancied. Comes back here now. T. Foster now has the ride for Anthony Nunes. This is also a horse that sustains his run in the stretch. I think he would have preferred maybe another furlong, but very capable amongst these. They've taken off the visor off of him now. So he's definitely going to be running on because with the visors off, but maybe that's what's going to do the trick. He's always had on visors or blinkers, so they've not removed it. So Tiger Midat definitely I think will be the horse probably finishing the strongest. I think he's the one with the best stamina in the race. The next horse I'm looking at is Sweet Victory, another late closing horse in the event. This Sweet Victory. The last good run from this horse was back in the 5th of October at a mile when running second to Uncaptured Empress on the heavy slap track. Was 3 3/4 lengths in front of Dimitri P on that day. I think Cosmic Force was also in that race that day. If I'm not, let me look. Yes, Cosmic Force finished 4th by 13 lengths that day with 119 pounds. Sweet Victory was running on to finish second at 116 pounds. So out of that race, Sweet Victory only comes in a pound heavier, while Cosmic Force comes into this race. From that race, if I'm checking out that race, 3 pounds heavier. So weight-wise, it would be in favor of Sweet Victory. Omar Walker now has the ride for Matthew Williams. And I said Matthew Williams, used to train at Gulfstream Park, so he knows what he's doing. And this Sweet Victory would want a pace in front of her to run at, because right after that race where she was second to Uncaptured Empress, she came back and was behind Cosmic Force in the next 2 starts. So I don't know what went wrong there. They have now taken off the visors and put on the blinkers. So I don't know if she's gazing through those little peepholes. So they want her more focused. I guess they want her to go to those gates really sharp. Try to be a lot closer to the pace. But I'm expecting a much better run here from Sweet Victory. And the 7, Pretty Caroline, in the Dimitri P race, same race, did nothing in that race. But if you rewatch that race, Dimitri P, Dean Nelson was motionless the entire trip. She wasn't asked a question in that entire race. The whole race, she was not asked to quicken. So two bad runs back to back, but before that had a win in the class below this at this distance, beating Papa Gray and Moneybox after coming out of the gate slow. So she definitely has ability. So if you toss those last two races out, I'm giving her a shot here, I'm giving this pretty car. I'm expecting her to be much earlier today. To be honest with you, I think she gets out of those gates fast. I think she's going to be probably on the lead. Sounds crazy, but I think she potentially has the ability to get out of those gates and go right to the front. And I think she's going to run one heck of a race with Jaminil Patterson for Patrick Lynch. So those are the four I'm going to boil it down to. The one, Cosmic Force. The horse I think they have to beat, Tiger Meedat. The 6, Sweet Victory, to run a much better race. And the 7, Pretty Caroline, to turn the form around and to be very early in the race and run a good one. So I wouldn't really wager in this race, just for maybe pick 6 and pick 9. But I think the winner comes from one of these 4. Yeah, so I'm just going to leave it there. The 4th race, the Andrew H.B. Aguilar Memorial Cup. It's for 2-year-old maiden special weight. Only 6 starters. Stretching them out at a mile now. The toddlers are going to stretch their legs. And let me just run down the field. All right. Number 1, Mineola. Tevin Foster for Jason DaCosta. 2 starts. Last time out was second by 6 3/4 lengths to Kimuchi at 6 furlongs. At 5.5 furlongs, sorry. Prominent for most of the way before Kimuchi changed gears and ran away. 107 and 4, pretty decent. Came back to beat Captain Fantastic at exercise on December 14th, 6 in 117. So looking like she's getting her act together. This well-bred daughter of Casual Trick out of Sweet Trail. Sweet Trail won the Harry Jackson Memorial Cup. I remember that was her last start when she was retired to stud to the breeding shed. So Minola might be finding her footing now. The 2, Althea, 1 start, was second by 17 lengths to Mr. Lee at 7 furlongs back in November. In that race, this Althea was a bit reluctant out of the gate, had to be tapped up to get into stride, but then managed to run second to outer class looking Mr. Lee. Philip Parchment still has the ride for Gordon Lewis. Still active at exercise, not doing too bad. And this Althea, who's a horse that came down here in utero, is looks like going to have a shot, because that was 7 furlongs. Now getting an extra furlong. She should enjoy this. The 3 is Attila, Samantha Fletcher for Fitznahu Williams. 1 start in that same race with Mr. Lee. Was being pushed the majority of the race and still finished behind Althea. So I'm not really liking Attila. The 4, Prince Kazir, Olin Mullins for Donovan Thompson. 1 start back November 9th at 6 furlongs. Came out of the gates very slow. Was near the back most of the race. Finished 7 by 15 lengths. But interesting to know, in that race, Prince Kazir had Minola and Simply Enchanting behind in that race, after being slowly out of the gate and being the back marker for majority of the race. Has come back to work well. Work with Little Maggie on the 6th of December, 5 in 111, and the last work coming to this race was a 7 furlong work where he beat Have a Joy by at 7 furlongs in 133 and 4. They have now added cheek pieces and now gets Lasix for the first time. This Prince Kazir, I think, going to put in a much different performance. This well-bred son out of Sensational Slam by Maggie Zoe. The 5, Miracle Selection, making debut. Bred for some speed, Midnight Talk out of Sparkling Michaela. Prince Holder riding for Lincoln Longs. I only see 1 work here, 3 furlongs in 40 by 25, 2 for 2. I think we'll have to see how that one runs. Simply Enchanting has run 4 times already, has 3/5. As I pointed out, was in that hazelnut race where he was behind Prince Kazir. Does look like the horse that is going to be the speed in this race. So that should be a welcoming thing for this Simply Enchanting with Radish Rowan for Oral Hayden. So going the mile at a pace that I don't think they're going to really be able to press Simply Enchanting. Depending if she gets to go on that lead and relax. Could be dangerous. Well bred out of Soul Warrior, out of my Ellie Bell. So should get the mile. But as I said, they're all babies. But I think this is the horse that's going to probably set off in front and they're going to have to try to catch. But I'm going to go with 3 horses here. The 1, Minola. The 2, Althea. And the 4, Prince Kazir. But as I said, watch out for this Simply Enchanting if she decides to slip off on that lead going a mile. But I don't pick her in my top 3 because I just don't know if she's going to get the mile. But just remember, she might be the speed of the race. I'm leaning more towards the 4, Prince Kazir. You know, he gets first time Lasix, so that's a plus for me. The 5th race. This is 3-year-olds and up optional claiming 400,000 and 6-year-olds and up non-winners of 4. 9 starters and they go 7 furlongs. I've boiled this race down to 4. The 2, Fair It Is. The 3, Dodge This Link. The 6, Right in Flight. And the 9, Sensational Goal. Fair It Is 7 by 9.5 lengths on last. At this level going 7.5 furlongs. Was early in the pace. Behind the outer class looking Bad Investment. Would prefer 6 furlongs. But I think if he's patiently ridden like he was on the 20th of October in the Dodge Link race where he was closing fast at Dodge Link at 5.5 furlongs, if he's patiently ridden like that, I think he should get the 7 furlongs and should run a good race. Claiming £3 for his apprentice rider Richard Henry for Lincoln Lons. So I'm expecting a good run from Fair It Is. The 3, Dodge This Link on a hat-trick of wins. Radish Roman now gets a ride for Sacrane Roman. Top weight in his back, but as fit as hands can make him at this point. Bred for being a short runner, but is going to be the controlling speed here. And if allowed to relax on that lead, is again the horse I think they're all going to have to catch and beat. The 6, Right in Flight. This horse was 3rd and last to Bad Investment, coming from way out of the clouds. Was 8 by 16 lengths at the half mile, going 7.5 furlongs. So 7 furlongs, I don't think much of a problem. Gets Ramon Napier here to claim 2 for Michael Marlowe. Busy at the exercise track, so he's definitely very, very fit. So I think if he gets a strong pace in front of him, like somebody decides to test this Dodge This Link, I think Right in Flight might be the horse finishing the best in the race. So definitely giving him a chance to be coming home strong in the end. So definitely watch out for this Right in Flight. And the 9, Sensational Goal, didn't have the best start on last. Back 23rd of November, went second to Dodge This Link at 6 furlongs. Was, I think, slowly into stride. And then went back down into the race. By the half mile was 4th by 3.25 lengths. Turned for home 3rd by 6.5 lengths when Dodge This Link changed gears and was staying on strong in the end to only be beaten 2 lengths. Gets Christopher Mamdi now for Randolph Scott. And 7 furlongs, I think, is right up his alley. His last time over 7 furlongs back in October was 2nd by 3/4 lengths to the late kicking Nala's Bushman. Had Right in Flight behind him on that day. So Sensational Goal, I think, here with a good shot. Horse to note, a dangerous horse in the race for your Superfecta, I think is definitely going to be Maya. Trevor Simpson gets the ride once again for Philip Elliott. This is a late running start. Hasn't been showing anything in the last 4 starts. But if you look back at the 8th of September, going 7.5 furlongs when coming from off the pace, she ran on strong to beat Nala's Bushman and Right in Flight. So if that Maya turns up, that could be the spoiler of the race. So keep your eyes open on that one. But definitely this race, Dodge This Link is the horse you're going to have to beat. If I had to buy in the race, I'd take a chance on Right in Flight for value for money. I think Right in Flight will be coming here at a good price. Yeah, but definitely Dodgers Link is a horse you're going to have to catch and beat. The sixth race, the BGLC Toba Millionaire Series, native bred 3-year-old maidens, 12 starters, 7 furlongs. And this race to me is an enigma, because on paper it looks like you're going to have to be Tornado Steel, but so many unknown in this race because it's 3-year-old maidens. So one of the hardest races to really work out, because anybody can turn up, especially this is the Millionaire Series. But I'm going to boil it down to 5 horses, and I think the winner might come from there. The 2, Bomb Night, the 7, Mila K, the 8, Tornado Steel, the 9, Solace, and the 11, Valley of Love. Okay, the 2, Bomb Night. 3 starts on debut, the 17th of November. Very awkward start in the race where Chinita Estrella was expected to win, but didn't. But Bomb Night came from way off the pace to finish only 2 3/4 lengths fourth to Little Maggie. Came back the next start 6 days later against Chinita Estrella again. Did the same thing at the gate again, slowly out, way off the pace, beaten 6 by 9.5 lengths by Chinita Estrella. Then came back 2 weeks later, going 6.5 furlongs, and did the same thing again, slowly into stride, never put in a punch in that race at all, and was 7 by 12 lengths to Blood Moon. Comes back here now. Siobhan Townsend now gets the right to claim 2 for Captain Marlon Brown. They have now put on the visors, so they mean business now. They're hoping the visors will help this Bomb Night get out of the starting gates. Sharp, gets Lasix for the first time, busy at exercise. Bomb Night, once a clean break, I think Bomb Night definitely is in it to win it. The next horse we're looking at is going to be the 7, Mila K. Out of local bred stallion, Seeking My Dream. Running fairly competitive races, but not really holding that gallop well. Dane Dawkins now gets right for Gary Sobrati. He's busy at exercise, so definitely sound and fit. 7 furlongs. I think one of our better races was at 7 furlong back in October when beaten only 3.5 lengths by Himalaya. I think that was also a Millionaire Series race, so definitely Mila K going to give that one here with a shot. The horse, I think they all have to beat. Tornado Steel, finding her foot now, gets Robert Halladine. 7 furlongs, looks a bit stretched out at 7 furlong, but does possess a lot of speed, so you get to relax on the lead there. This Tornado Steel could slip them. That's if she gets to relax on that lead. She does have some space, but I think there might be a horse in this race that's going to flash some speed too. But definitely Tornado Steel looks the horse they're going to have to beat. The 9, Solace, very well bred horse, bred for a lot of speed. This is the half sister to Sugar Daddy, and we know Sugar Daddy is very fast. Hasn't been seen since June 23rd at 6.5 furlongs when beaten only a length and a half to Rat Them. Had So Beautiful behind that day. So Beautiful came back to break maiden and is out of this class. But as I said, hasn't been seen since June. Hasn't seen anything on the exercise track. So more than likely, this horse has been swimming. And once she turns up here, 80% to what she was the last time she raced, she's going to definitely cause some problems on the headlines for Tornado Steel. And the 11, Valley of Love, Yuval Pinnock for Philip Elliott. Last run was December 7th when beating 12 by 24 lengths to Blood Moon. Not showing nothing in recent forms, but if you check back May of this year, was 3rd by 3.5 lengths going 6 furlongs to Sipping on Sunshine and Kaylin Melody. That race alone tells me that if Valley of Love turns up here today, is definitely going to be in here with a shot. They've now put on blinkers. Blinkers is now back on. And I think a more focused Valley of Love should put in a good run. Busy at the exercise track. So I think that's a very dangerous horse in this race. So those are the 5 that I boil it down to. The 2, Bomb Night. The 7, Mila K. The 8, the horse they're going to have to beat, Tornado Steel. The 9, Solace, expecting a good run from this horse, trying to get to that lead early. And Valley of Love, the 11 horse, very dangerous horse to watch. I might take another chance with Bomb Night if decides to break good from the gates. I think that's a very dangerous horse in this race. But to be honest, I think this is a race I might bypass. I don't think I might wager in this race. The 7th race, native bred 3-year-old and 4-year-old non-winners of 4, small field of 7, going 8 furlongs. And this is a very, very tricky race, because this race, the dynamic of the pace is what's going to decide who wins this race. So we're going to get a rundown on all horses. All right, the 1, Amma. Pacey sort. She's a very pacey filly. A classic running filly. She ran in the Guineas. She ran in the Oaks. She was 3rd in the Oaks. Has some pace, but she also is the kind of horse I think can change gears. I think she can run on, but she definitely has a lot of pace. They have now called back for Caymanas, who won with her the last time at numbers of 2, 9 furlongs and 25 yards, beating Kaylin's Melody and Provident, where she made all the running. And definitely, Amma looks really, really dangerous here, working well coming into the race. The 2, Kaylin Melody, just won numbers of 2 and last, going 9.5 furlongs, beating Lucy in the Sky. And the General, stalking the pace and then making the move. Going to have a little bit more to find here, I think, against these, because I think the closers in this race might be some stronger closers than her. Although she might be able to get first run on them, I think coming to this class, I think she have a little more to find. King Pie got an acid test when coming up here to numbers of 4, beaten 12 by 16 lengths when ridden by Treos. Was wide from the majority of that race, going wide into that half-mile turn. Didn't really show much. I think a much improved effort from King Pie here at a big price after getting that run in this class. The 4, Battle Angel, also just coming to this class after winning non-winners of 2 at 7 furlongs, catching Smart Trick and the General after breaking slow. This is, I think, one of 3 horses in here for Anthony Nunes. This Battle Angel, although running on and last, I think does possess some speed, because has run in some sprint races, and I think probably might be a horse in this race to try help the pace. For Captain Sparrow, I think she's going to try to go out there early and make sure that the pace runs honest. The 5, Macan Rome. This horse is basically what you call a free runner. He likes to jump out and go for that lead. If allowed to relax on the lead, could be very dangerous. Prefers 2 turns where he's more comfortable, where he gets to relax going into that first turn and then opens up on them on the backstretch and tries to steal it. Comes here now with 126 pounds in his back. If allowed to get to that lead and relax, could be very dangerous in the stretch. Will they allow that to happen? That's the big question here. They're going a mile. I don't think they're just going to allow Macaron to steal it early. The 6, Captain Sparrow, to me, definitely the class horse of the race. But he is what you call he only has 1 run, and it's a very short run. He's a sustainer. He stays at the back, lacks early speed. But when he gets rolling, he really gets rolling. So if he gets a pace in front of him and they go a little too fast too soon and start to tie up in the stretch, there's no doubt in my mind that Captain Sparrow will catch them. But that's left to be seen if that is what happens in this event. The 7, also a newbie to this class, Francis, start the pace and got going late at 6 furlongs to beat Adira and Battle Angel. Stretched out now to a mile. I don't really see Francis getting a mile, well bred, but I don't know if a mile is going to be her liking, especially stepping up in class. I think she might be one of those horses very prominent early in the event to make the pace set up. So it's a very tricky race for me. I'm going to work this out as how I think the pace will set up. I think the pace sets up that Macaron jumps for that lead. I think Francis and Battle Angel, I think, going to be the horses that are going to try to put the pressure on him with Amma. I don't know if Amma goes for that lead. it definitely sets up for Captain Sparrow running on and winning. If Amma decides to go with Mac and Rome, I think it sets perfectly up for Captain Sparrow. Are they going to go to the front with Amma? Has Dick Cardenas in the saddle to start the leaders and then try and make a move leaving the half mile and then try and get first run on Captain Sparrow? That, in my mind, I think that's the scenario that might happen, that she might try and get first run. Instead of leading, she stalks, go through at the half mile and then try to steal it. But that's left to be seen. So for how I'm working the race, I'm going to boil it down to just 3. The 1, Amma. The 3, King Pie, at a big price. If the pace goes fast, it's definitely going to suit him trying to run on late. And the horse they're going all have to beat, if he gets that pace in front of him, Captain Sparrow. I'm leaning towards Captain Sparrow, showing him class, showing his stamina, catching them maybe from the furlong pole and just powering away. But as I said, that is just my opinion, and I'm working this off of how I think the pace sets up. Maybe Macanrome gets the lead and no one goes with him, and he gets away with it. But I'm thinking the pace gets fast for the first half mile and Captain Sparrow catches them. The 8th race, another race for the toddlers. 2-year-old maiden special weight, 7 starters, 6 furlongs is the distance. And just going to run down the field. The 1, Flag of Victory, 3 starts. His best runners on debut when finishing 6 by 6 lengths to Lavisa. 2 runs after that, beaten out of sight. Training, not bad. He worked 6 furlong in 1:15 and 3. And then his last work was 7 furlong. So probably training this horse for going a little longer. The 2, Alma Stilis, from Lawrence Robinson. 1 start, was 7 by 19 lengths to run all day. Was checked at the 2 furlong marker. Did put in a punch. The 3, Quantum Star, also that run all day race, was beaten 11 by 27 lengths. Although working pretty good at exercise, galloped with Kaylin Melody and last. Dick Cardenas for Robert Pearson. The 4, Gervano, well-bred horse out of Gervin from the Jason DeCosta stable, Tevin Foster up. This horse has been sizzling at exercise. Last gallop out the gate was over the straight, 4 furlongs in 46 by 59 and 3 for 5. So that's a very nice work. And he's running pretty fast and consistent at exercise. So this horse looks like a speedball. The 5, Supernatural Power from the Philip Fiani stable, Radish Roman in the saddle. This also worked very nice coming into this race. 15th of December, gallop 5.5 in 107 by 59.4. So it looks very forward. Before that, worked 4 furlongs in 48.3 with Firecracker. The 6, Fearless Mission, second on debut to the very good-looking Run All Day at 5.5 furlongs. So I'm coming in here with experience. Not a good run expected. Lay 6 for the first time. And the 7, Nephew. This horse is out of Uncle Vinny by Boca Bloom. Not really. He was 6 by 16 lengths in the same race as Run All Day. But these are all 2-year-olds. They are youngsters. So anything can happen in this race, but going off for exercise and breeding and exercise, are definitely going to go with the 4, Gervano. Breeding wise and looks at exercise reports, looks very forward and very speedy. The 5, Supernatural Power from the Philip Fiani stable, working very well and looks like he's very forward. I like the mare. The mare comes out of Scat Daddy, so very well bred. And the 6, Fearless Mission, the horse that ran already and was second to a very good looking horse. So those are the 3 I'm going to boil it down to. I'm not going to bet in this race. This is a race that I would just love to watch to see how these youngsters do. So it's going to be the 4, the 5, and the 6. The 9th race, 3 wheels and up, overnight allowance, the Will in Charge Trophy. They go a mile, and this is a nice looking race, but I'm only going to boil it down to only 3 horses in this event. They are the 2, Further and Beyond, the 3, Blue Vinyl, and the 7, Impressive Force. Okay, Further and Beyond. taking 2 steps down in class now. Proven A-class horse. Did the local bred horse is proud in the Mute Mile when finishing only 2 3/4 lengths fourth to the Americans. Comes in here with an apprentice, Tyrese Anderson. Kind of big man ride this for this horse, but because Further and Beyond is not the easiest horse to ride. You have to get him to relax. Don't go, because I think the way I see this Further and Beyond run, when the gates open, he wants to like pull the rider to get into the pace. I think Further and Beyond is a one move horse. You just wait with him and then you turn him loose, leaving that half mile, and then he will explode in the stretch. So I think he's a ride for a big man. So when you see how well this Tyrese Anderson can handle Further and Beyond. Blue Vinyl, not the force of yesteryears. Only 5 years old. This Blue Vinyl, classy sort, but definitely has its problems. Hasn't been seen at exercise, so probably swimming. Wasn't embarrassed on his last run against the 3-year-old queen of local racing. That's Run Julie Run, beaten 10 lengths and was prominent all the way to the top of the lane. Run Julie won in stakes record time, winning by 4 3/4 lengths. So Blue Vinyl was 5 1/4 off of She's a God Gift in that race, and 4 1/2 off of Impressive Force. A mile, definitely comfortable at a mile. Last time at a mile was back last year in April when winning in 1:38 and 2, beating Perfect Brew. But that's not the same Blue Vinyl that's going to race tomorrow. But still, I think is a very classy sort, and depending on how the pace sets up, which I think he might be able to control the pace. He has 2 runs for the season, and I think he might be the horse that goes to the front, and has the very competent Dane Dawkins in the saddle for Gary Sobrati. So I'm interested to see what Blue Vinyl is going to do. And the 7, Impressive Force. Now this is a very, very useful quote from the stables of Philip Fiani. Radish Roman up. Won first 2 starts, then was beaten by the big filly Run Julie Run at a mile by 3 3/4 lengths. In that race, Impressive Force was the one chasing Run Julie Run from the top of the lane, but she had an easy lead and she just kicked away from him. Came back at 7 1/2. Had to be very early in the pace again because Supremacy had a quite an easy lead with Sheer Delight, who's a run-on horse, was trying to press Supremacy, and Impressive Force didn't really get a pace to run at in that race. If you can notice, it was a 24:4:49 pace, and he has to be really early, so he didn't really get a pace to run at. Still won in a good time of 1:33. Next start out sprinting, did very good against Money Market at this level, only beaten 3 1/4 lengths. Coming from off the pace, that was a bit too short for him. And then last time out at 9:25, Run Julie Run had it her own way once again. Impressive Force didn't get a pace to run at. As you notice, he was 4th by 13 lengths at the furlong pole, and still managed to finish 3rd by only 5 1/4 lengths. So made up probably 7 3/4 lengths in the last furlong. So this Impressive Force has a decent turn of foot. Fiani has now put on the visors on Impressive Force, so I think he wants Impressive Force to be more focused early and not kind of drop too far back, and try to sit a little bit closer to the pace. And I'm expecting this Impressive Force to turn up on Saturday. So I'm picking those 3, but I think it might come down to a straight fight between Impressive Force and Further and Beyond. I'm giving the edge to Impressive Force because of jockey, Radish Roman, I think a little more experienced than the apprentice on Further and Beyond, but a Further and Beyond is definitely the class horse, stepping 2 classes down. And if he ridden to just wait and then kick, probably ramps this event. But that's how I figure this race running. So those are the 3 that I think the race comes down between: the 2 Further and Beyond, the 3 Blue Vinyl, and the 7 Impressive Force with the visors now fitted. Okay, the 10 and final, also known as the Dig-Out Handicap. Native bred 3-year-olds, non-owners of 2, and imported 3-year-olds and up. Maiden, 14 starters, 7 1/2 furlongs. It's a big field. This is an interesting contest. And let's get into it. I'm boiling this race down to 5 because this is a real tough race. Boil it down to 5. There are the 3, Lucy in the Sky, the 8, Midnight Galaxy, the 9, Pineapple, the 10, Titan Tempo, and the 13, Oil Machine. Okay, Lucy in the Sky, useful, very useful filly from the Jason DeCosta stable. Tevin Foster gets a ride again after that narrow defeat on last going 9.5 furlongs. Comes down in distance to 7.5. Last time at this distance was beaten by Unruly Don, making all the running there. Lucy the Sky was basically a pace setter in that race for Provident, but Provident turns out to be just a one pace slugger. So now Lucy in the Sky going to really show her worth when she's allowed to run her natural race, which is stalking the pace and try to make that move, leaving the half mile. And she fits perfect in this race. Definitely has a shot for taking top honors. The 8, that is Midnight Galaxy. All the rage the last 3 starts. Beaten in all of those. Stretched out at 9.5 after that defeat by Mac and Rome in July. Came back December 7th at 9.5 and was well beaten when early in the pace and then outsped in the stretch. Lucy in the Sky was way in front of him in that race. Should be more comfortable here at 7.5. The last time at 7 was beaten a length by Blue Sensation, so I think this is more of his alley. Cardenas gets back the ride. And from a more patient ride, if he's more relaxed, because he does have some speed in this Midnight Galaxy, but I think if they save that speed for the stretch, he might perform better. So interesting to see how Cardenas rides this horse, and Cardenas is very, very competent rider. Once he gets in the zone, he can deliver. The 9, Pineapple, all the reach at 1 to 5 a week ago, over the 4.5 furlongs, beaten a length and a quarter, surprisingly. Stretch out now, and I think he might want this. The last time he was stretched out was the furthest he's been is 6.5 back in June, and he was second to Magnificent Force and beating Backlinge by 5.5. Just off the pace, maybe four lengths off, ran on, lost by a length. So I think the 7.5 is definitely going to suit him. Radish Roman still has a ride here for Patrick Lynch, and now stretching out to 7.5. I expect a capital effort from this very good looking Dark Bay filly, very tall, strong looking filly. I think we might see the best of this Pineapple going this distance. The 10, another imported horse, Titan Tempo, Robert Halliday for Philip Fiani. Came off a slight rest on last, going 6 furlongs, and ran well. Was right at the tail of the leaders the entire trip, only beaten 2.5 lengths by the very improved Tiffany Blue and the speedy Smart Trick. Last time at 7 furlongs was beaten by Goodbye Firefly, who ran away from the field. Much better for the recent run, this Titan Tempo, working well at exercise. Looks to be of a lot of worth, this American colt. Expecting another strong effort from him. The 13, Oil Machine. Ryan Lewis for Philip Elliott was 4th and last at 6 furlongs. I think 6 furlongs are a little too snappy for this Oil Machine. Was scratched on the last 7th of December. It says lame here, so but more maybe he just had a stone squeeze or something like that, because he's still at the exercise cantering. Before that, at a mile, was 3rd by 4 lengths to King Pie, and Jay Spieth had Lucy in the Sky behind in that race. I think 7.5 might be the right trip. Last time he was over 7 furlongs, was beaten 14 lengths, 3rd by way out of class Main Mistress, who won by 9 lengths. So and he was used up chasing Main Mistress in that race. We'll get some pace in front of him now, so I don't think he has to be the horse doing all the pressing. Drawn 13. So he does have speed to come over and try to get a good position before they hit that half mile. And definitely expecting Oil Machine to run a big one here. And I lean into odds. If I was going to gamble, I think I would take a gamble on Oil Machine. I like the morning line, says 8 to 1. Kind of like those odds. So the 5 horses that I like. The 3, Lucy in the Sky. The 8, Midnight Galaxy. The 9, Pineapple. the 10, Titan Tempo, and the 13, Oil Machine, who is the horse that I'm picking to win. For those who like the Superfecta and High Fives, 2 outsiders to watch, because they could come in it and make it pay a lot of money, are the 2, Catalina Princess, and the 11, Seaplane, who loves to run on. Looks like he's not really as classy as some of these, but if the pace does set up super fast, I think Seaplane is one of those that definitely loves to run at a tiring pace and could come into the Superfecta or the High Five at a very big price. Okay, guys, I hope you guys have a lot of luck. We have a Sunday card coming up too, so we're going to try to get right into that. So as always, be safe.